is hit deep to right field. Miller back on the track, turning, looking, see ya. A home run the other way for Torres. Potentially tough situation in the bullpen. That's what's rocketed in the left center field. It's a base hit. Here's the throw. He's in there. It's an RBI double for Allen. And the pitch. Grounded to short. Gleyber Torres fields across the diamond. They get Williams. Ground ball, base hit. Past the diving Segura. Here comes Florial. He will score. High drive. Right field. Miller back. Looking up. See ya. Into the second deck. Gardner. This should get it done. Deep fly ball. Right field. Miller back. Turns. Looks. And it is a walk-off single. The Yankees win 6-5.
Ball game over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
Well, the Yankees tried their best to cough this one up, but ultimately they extend their winning streak to 4. It is walk-off Wednesday. Sorry for the delay. I had to get the highlights from that final walk-off here. I'm seeing a lot of votes for Kriske for the belt. I'm seeing a lot of votes for Odor for the belt. I'm seeing a lot of votes for Lamar for the belt. Right now, it looks like Odor is in the lead. I don't even think I have a headshot for Kriske. I honestly forgot Kriske was on the team. But I did get one for Lamar. But right now, I think Odor looks to be winning. Before the game, the Yankees dropped Hoy June Park from the roster. Hoy, we hardly knew ya. Meanwhile, Luis Heel through 6 innings of no-hit ball tonight in AAA. The Rail Riders completed the no-hit performance with the bullpen, and the Yankees walk it off tonight. So good night for the entire Yankees organization. Tough beginning for the night tonight with Asher Wojciechowski on the mound. First pitch of the game went for a home run into the left field seats. He bounced back with a couple of strikeouts before giving up a double. Picked up his 3rd strikeout of the first inning to get out of it with minimal damage. He pitched into and out of trouble in the second as well. Nice piece of hitting by Gary Sanchez in the second to take a pitch on the outer half of the plate to right field for a base hit. He's a different guy lately than he's been for the past 2 years. I think it's reflecting in his defense as well. See him a lot more aggressive, throwing behind runners at first base, things like that. I can see the Yankees possibly re-signing him now, which I didn't think would happen if you had asked me that before the season. I figured this would be his last season with the Yankees. I had Dan Rourke on Yankees Game Day a couple of months ago now, and we both agreed that this was probably going to be the final year with Gary Sanchez, but he's really turned it around. Bryce Harper doubles in the top of the 3rd to make it 2-0 Phillies. Was not looking good at that point of the game, and I was just imagining Bryce Harper in pinstripes. I always wanted Bryce Harper to be a Yankee. Ever since he was a phenom, he wanted to be a Yankee. He said a long time ago he wanted to wear the pinstripes before his career was over. And the Yankees had a chance, but they let him go. But I just dream about that swing in Yankee Stadium. Bottom of the 4th, Gleyber goes Oppo Boppo to make it 3-1. To make it 2-1. He was learning to use that porch over the last couple of weeks. Relearning, I guess. He's done it in the past before. But 3 home runs in a week for Gleyber after hitting 3 in his first 78 games. So he's definitely turned the power faucets back on. Yankees used a little bit of speed to tie it up. Greg Allen picks up a double, right-handed this time. Gardy scores from first base. Good to see the Yankees changing their approach, even though it took half the team getting COVID or getting injured to do it. They followed that up with a double steal, but they left both of those runners stranded. Still not hitting enough with runners in scoring position, despite this whole next man up thing. Love the kids, but you got to hit more with runners in scoring position. Shout out to Ryan Lamar, who got it done later on, baby. Offenses for both teams were quiet for the most part for a while after that. Phillies threatened in the 6th and 7th, but Justin Wilson got out of it both times. Nice performance by him. Don't want to forget Justin Wilson. Florial picked up an infield hit and a stolen base in the bottom of the 7th. And then Stanton with a great piece of 2-out hitting to use the right side of the field and make it 3-2 Yanks. Odor goes in the second deck to make it 5-2, one of those rare non-solo home runs for the Yankees. And look, he's been really swinging the bat better lately. I'm loving the power stroke from him. He's reminding me a little bit of Didi, how he turned it on and became a much better hitter when he got to the Yankees. he's doing a good job lately. Zach Britton loaded the bases in the top of the 8th, error, walk, and then Aaron Boone had to go to Nick Nelson, who immediately threw some gas on the fire. 2-run single to make it 5-4. Then he throws one to the backstop to allow the tying run to score. Nick Nelson, I'm sorry, but he looked like a deer in headlights. He does not look like his command is in a spot where he's a major league caliber pitcher at this point. I'm sorry. I like the kid's stuff. He's just not ready for the big time. Phillies load the bases again, but the game stays tied at 5. Chapman comes in to pitch the 9th with a tie game. He walks Hoskins, and I'm upset at this point because I feel like he's just gonna blow it. But he picks off Hoskins with 1 out, and that to me was one of the biggest plays of the game. Takes that whole rally away from them. He gets out of the inning. He had a little bit of trouble with his middle finger nail, so keep an eye on that. He's been dealing with it all year. Bottom of the 9th, Stanton hits one to right field that gets misplayed by Miller. 2nd and 3rd with 1 out. DJ runs into an out at home. You had to send him there on contact. Didn't get it done. Yankees don't score. Brooks Kriske with an easy 10th inning and strands the automatic runner. And then Glaber bunts over Sanchez to begin the bottom of the 10th. Very, very well executed small ball. And then Ryan Lamar with his biggest hit as a Yankee.
Ball game over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
And I'm just looking at the comments here. I'm looking, and just from what I'm seeing, the belt holder is going to change hands. And we are going with Rougned Odor. Rougned Odor gets the belt. We're going to start using the air horn for the belt, I think. By the way, if you're wondering what my hat says, it says next man up. I'm not sure if you can see it. Great. But look, this was a great team win. I could see this being a really, a really good springboard into a nice hot streak for the Yankees. That's 4 straight. Now they do have to go to Boston. That's going to be tough. And then you got Tampa Bay. That's going to be tough too, especially without your main guys. But the Yankees just handled Boston, and I'm loving the energy that these young guys are giving us. Allen legging 1 out tonight. Gardner scoring from first base was huge. Gleyber Torres learning how to hit again is huge. Giancarlo Stanton had the big hit opposite field. And then Rougned Odor with the big home run. Ryan Lamar, of course, comes through in the clutch. He almost hit that ball out of the ballpark, and he was just trying to slap it to right field. And look, that's why we got the fire up here, because we're catching fire, baby. We're heating up. Jack Janokro says, Derek, did you see Johnny Lasagna on the bench? Why could he be around the guys but couldn't pitch instead of Nelson? I don't think he's been activated yet. I haven't seen word that he's been activated. I know that he's close to being activated, but as far as I know, he's not ready to go yet. Should be soon. Wes Niles says, Gardy, retire. Yeah, look, we talked about that on the 643 DP podcast before the game on Patrick's channel on Hinge Yankees. And we basically agreed that Gardner needs to go after the trade deadline, after you get everybody back, and assuming you can get another outfielder. I would love to see him fade off into the sunset, go out in front of a sold-out crowd on Brett Gardner night sometime in late August. That would be excellent. Or early August, even better. Let's see here. Someone says, let the kids play. I agree. Isaiah Torres says, Gary has improved so much from last year.
Yes, I agree.
Both sides of the ball, baby. Both sides of the ball. He's doing much better both sides of the ball. Luke WS says, I think one more impactful lefty and this team will be playoff level. You got to say that having a few lefties in the lineup really does make a difference. And especially, I love the way that Estevan Florial has good at bats. He's not always going to get a hit, but he can beat you in a lot of ways. He's got power. We saw it last night. He can use the opposite field. We saw it when he got called up last time. He can run the bases. We saw him steal a base tonight. And he almost beat out a couple of ground balls to the right side over the last few days. And we know that that's one of the reasons that Brian Cashman doesn't like having a ton of lefties, is because they hit into the shift. But he's shown that he can go the opposite way. So they're not going to be able to shift him as much forever. Hey, we got a super chat from Ronan Ryan. I wish it was Stanton in the outfield and Park DH. Here's the dono hype. I think Stanton, the plan is for him to play the outfield soon. You may see him in left field at Boston, actually, because that's kind of an easy park to play left field in. I mean, well, in terms of distance, he's not going to have to sprint very much. It's tough in terms of like ricochets and things like that, but he's not going to have to bust it very far. Another super chat here. I'm loving this young and injected core and energy. Let's go Yanks from Ehan to Plug. Appreciate that. Dono hype. Keith Aldrich says, hey, Florial's swing looks great at Yankee Stadium. And is it just me, or does this kid swing an enormous bat? He's also got an enormous glove. We mentioned that last night. But he swings an enormous log up there. It just seems like his barrel is through the zone for a long time. He seems like he's swinging almost as big a bat as DJ LeMahieu. And DJ LeMahieu has a humongous bat because he's a wrist hitter. He drops that bat head right on the ball. And I'm just loving what I'm seeing from Estevan Florial. Laura Volpe, regular, says, this is the most excited I've been about this team all year.
I wholeheartedly agree.
100% agree. Yankees, they've been pretty much station to station all year, and that doesn't make for very fun baseball. They're a home run hitting team that wasn't hitting a lot of home runs. Well, now you're mixing in some different ways to score runs, and that puts pressure on the pitcher. It gets guys out of their rhythm, and it causes more mistakes, which leads to more home runs. So it helps the team in a lot of ways. Look, I still think the Yankees should carry a lot of guys who can hit home runs. This is a field that produces home runs. But when Judge comes back, you got to keep Allen out there in center field, or Florial, or both. I would love to see them pick up somebody like Reynolds, but I would not be that upset if the Yankees outfield going forward once Judge comes back is Judge in right, Florial in center, and Allen in left field. I would totally be fine with that. Somebody mentioned Yermin Mercedes. I got to find that real quick. So Yermin Mercedes said that he was taking time off of baseball. I can't find the comment, so I apologize for whoever said that. But basically, Yermin Mercedes was called out by his manager for swinging at a 3-0 pitch. He started off the season 8 for 8. He was hitting like 350 a month into the season, maybe 360. He hits a home run on a 3-0 pitch and a blowout. Tony La Russa calls him out, and then he went into an enormous slump, and he gets sent to AAA. And then when in AAA, he continues to swing the bat well, and then today he just upped and quit on Instagram. So that's a story to keep your eye on. Taco Nacho says, did you see Joel Sherman's report today? I assume you're talking about Gallo. I read a lot of reports this time of year. You got to remember that these reporters are just trying to get stories, clicks this time of year. Typically, the Yankees don't leak when they're going to trade. You know, if we all woke up tomorrow and Brian Cashman pulled a strange trade out of his hat, nobody would be surprised that he did that. The Yankees don't leak when trades happen most of the time. We kind of suspected Sonny Gray. We've suspected some of the obvious folks, but for the most part, his trades are a sneaky surprise. Nobody, thought Didi Gregorius or Curtis Granderson or Rougned Odor. Nobody thought that those deals were going to happen. Jack Smith says, we need to target bullpen help. You're not wrong. You're definitely not wrong. Britton has not been good since he's been back. His velocity is down. He's wild. Now, it may just be, one of those seasons where it takes him a while to get going. But there's no excuse for Nelson to be in a game at any point for the rest of the season. At any point. I don't care if you're down 10 runs. Nick Nelson is not ready for the major leagues. He's got a great arm. He's probably got one of the top 5 arms in the organization. But his command is not where it needs to be to pitch in a pennant race. And in games where you must win, I don't want to see Nick Nelson in Boston. Leave him here. Leave him here. Cool Rodri says, Boone bringing in Nelson in the 8th because he knew he'd blow the game, allowing the Yankees to walk the game off. 4-dimensional chess and dono hype. Ulysses Leon says, could Sonny Gray be a possibility for the Yanks? Gee, I hope not. I hope not. I hope the Yankees have learned their lesson. We've seen them do that before where they bring in a guy and he doesn't do well. He leaves and then he does better elsewhere and they bring him back. Javier Vasquez comes to mind. Jarrett Wright comes to mind. Actually, the Yankees never had Jarrett Wright the first time. They brought him back in later. But definitely Vasquez. Vasquez was signed, I want to say it was 2004 2005, 2004, sometime. I think it must have been 2004 because he gave up a home run in the playoffs that year. And he was coming over from Montreal. I think they sent Nick Johnson and a couple others to get him. And he was expected to be like an ace. And I think he threw like 8 shutout innings or something like that in his debut. And that was the high point of his Yankees career. After he leaves the Yankees, he does pretty well. He's kind of journeyman pitcher. He goes to Atlanta. They bring him back, and he stunk again. And I think he retired after that. But Gray, he hated New York. He's not a New York kind of guy. He clashed with the coaches. And so, I just don't think he's a great fit. Aryav Yah says, 4-1 after the break without Judge, Urshela, and great pitchers. Just imagine the second half for our young guys. I think the Yankees could be on the brink of running something off here. But Boston and Tampa Bay are the make or break point of this season. If you're going to add to the team now, it makes no sense to wait until you struggle against Boston and Tampa Bay. If you're going to add to the team, add to it now. But then there's the catch-22 of, this team is playing so well right now. Do you want to upset the chemistry? The offense was fine tonight. Offense was good. And going to Boston, that's a park where speed can get you some runs because there's all those alleys. You have the triples alley out there between, center field and like right center. There's that weird triangle. And then you have the wall where balls can take weird ricochets. So, this could be a chance for the Yankees to, pick up a couple of games. Boston did win tonight, so the Yankees remain 7 games back. But you avoid going 8 games back. The Yankees pick up their 50th win of the season. I can't believe we've already had 94 games this year. Rich Rucci says, or maybe Rucci says, Allen and Florial's left-handed bats with speed, giving a lineup more diversity. 100% agree. You've got to be able to mix up the looks that you give pitchers. You've got to be able to throw these guys off. And the speed is, as David Cohn mentioned, a distraction. That's something that the analytics people don't take into account. There's no stat for distracting the pitcher. There's no stat because you can't get inside of someone's mind. But it should be clear to Brian Cashman and the front office now that the Yankees needed this element. They needed the youth. They needed the speed. I'm really sore about what happened to Hoy Jun Park. He got one at bat, didn't get a chance. I think he could have added some real value. I would have much rather seen Hoy Jun Park be kept around rather than Tyler Wade. And that's just me. I like Tyler Wade as a guy. I like his speed. But his bat does not impress me. Hoy Jun Park was, I think, leading AAA in OPS. And you want to tell me that doesn't translate at all to the major leagues? Give me a break. Give me a break. Let's see here. Gary Laverty echoes what I think a lot of fans are saying right now. Keep the youngsters, let them play, and see what they've got. 100% agree. 100% agree.
Yes, I agree.
Ulysses Leon says, how's Luis Medina been in the minors? He's been great. He's been great. He got promoted already once. He's healthy. He's picking up a lot of strikeouts. I could pull up his stats right now, but I don't want to. Go to MILB.com. That's the official website of minor league baseball. And type in Luis Medina in the search bar, and you will get his stats for the year. 110% says trade for Brian Reynolds, Trevor Story, and Berrios ASAP. Move Glaber to second, LeMahieu to first, keep Allen in there. Well, what do you do with Luke Voit? Luke Voit was starting his baseball activities today. On the 643 DP podcast today, we talked about possibly including Luke Voit in a trade for Trevor Story because Luke Voit would probably hit 50 home runs in Colorado. The man can mash, and that's a big outfield too, so he makes contact. He'll pick up a lot of bloops and stuff like that. I honestly think Luke Voit, if he could stay healthy for a whole season, would probably hit 300 with 40 to 50 home runs in Colorado. Hey, looks like we got another super chat here. This from Maroquin Maria. So Maria Maroquin. Greg Allen needs to stay in the lineup. He brings action, he hits, and he has speed. 100% agree.
I wholeheartedly agree.
And I don't know hype. And I think Maria follows me on Twitter. So hi, Maria. Appreciate all the support. Wyatt Bard says, this team is finally fun to watch. Yeah, can't argue about a walk-off victory. Can't argue about coming back, and winning a game that you almost coughed up. So really, really good night for the Yankees. Much more fun. Jack Smith says, Trevor Story is not the answer. If we picked up Bryant, it would be badass. So Chris Bryant, yeah, he can play a little bit of center field. He can play a little bit of left field. He can also fill in at third base for times when Gio Urshela needs a break. We saw him get banged up a lot in the first half. Generally, guys don't get unbanged up in the second half. They get more banged up. So it would be helpful to have him to be able to shift over there. He's got a good bat. He hits the ball to right field. Problem is he's very expensive. And there's going to be multiple teams that want him. So he's going to cost you in prospects. He's going to put you over the salary threshold. And I think he's going to be a free agent. And the Yankees aren't going to sign him. Normie Kakimi says, Luis Medina has 80 strikeouts in 12 games. Yikes.
My kind of team, Charlie. It's my kind of team.
THD Wicked 50 Cal says, do you think that the Yankees management is learning something about how to win from these AAA players? I don't know if they're I don't know if they're learning how to win so much as they're recognizing that the team has something they didn't have before, right? It means a lot more for Giancarlo to hit a base hit through the right side if you've manufactured a runner to second base. It makes more sense to steal bases if you got guys who can actually do it. JT Realmuto can't throw anyone out. He's thrown out something like 15% of runners this year. He's bad. And so the Yankees took advantage of that. But before these guys came up, I don't think you'd be able to take advantage of it. Tyler Wade, maybe if he pinch ran. Brett Gardner, possibly. Alex Eldon says, trade for Josh Hader and have him as a setup man. Hey, look, I can't argue with you. He'd be disgusting. Ayers says, I think Florial is better than Allen convinced me otherwise. I'm not going to convince you otherwise. I think that Florial has a higher ceiling. I think he's got more power. But I think that Allen, because he's played more in the major leagues and he's a switch hitter, he's also a better base runner. He's more comfortable in the outfield. We saw Estevan Florial trip twice tonight and leave divots. The ground crew is going to love him. But we know that Allen has played in the big leagues before. He's a little more comfortable. I think Allen is a better player right now, but I think Florial long-term, and being exposed to the major leagues, he's going to improve rapidly. I mean, this guy's a big-time athlete. I've been saying it forever. Even though he doesn't switch hit, he reminds me of Bernie Williams. The way he runs, he glides in the outfield. Go back and watch highlights of Bernie Williams. Rarely did he have to make a diving catch. He would make sliding catches. He would make catches at the wall where he had to jump up and pull it back. But he almost never had to dive because he was so fast. He would outrun the baseball. And I feel like Estevan Florial gets good jumps and has maybe not elite speed, but very, very good speed. He's an excellent center fielder. AB says, Brooks Kriske, you angel.
Excellent.
Darth Wacko, say this every time, my favorite name on here, says, we need Kimbrel. I don't like Kimbrel. I something about him. I just don't, he doesn't sit well with me. Maybe it's because of the whole Boston thing. I've never liked him since he was with Boston. Maybe I'd get used to him if he came to the Yankees. Pablo Ignacio says he wants Merrifield, Adam Frazier, or Starling Marte. I keep hearing rumors about Starling Marte. He is a righty, but he doesn't concern me that much because he hits righties better than he hits lefties. He's also a very good center fielder. And he has speed too. And coming to a playoff race from the Marlins could be something that makes him play even better. I would consider it. Depends on what it's going to cost. John Strausser says, I love Bernie. Should be in the Hall of Fame. Same stats as Andrew Jones. So not as many home runs as Andrew Jones, but he won a batting title. He was the center fielder and cleanup hitter for a dynasty team. I think he had over 2,000 hits. I mean, he was a legend in my mind. I love Bernie. There's a great video by Baseball Historian. I had him on here maybe a month or two ago, and he did a video on Bernie Williams that was fantastic. Just absolutely phenomenal. You got to go check it out. Let's see here. AB says he really wants Ketel Marte. Ketel Marte is on the injured list right now, so I don't think that that's going to happen. Michael Joyner says Yankees need another starter. You're not wrong there, but I think that they're counting on getting Luis Severino and Corey Kluber back, but it might be too late. The Yankees have got to find a way to win against Boston and against Tampa Bay over the next several days. All right, guys, one more time from Mr. John Sterling.
Ball game over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
Reminder that I will be on 643 DP next Wednesday night. So we will not have a Wednesday night recap on this channel. If you go over to Pat's channel, the Unhinged Yankees channel, I will be live on there. We're going to be doing a live post-game. We'll have all the highlights and all that stuff, assuming the game goes well. If it goes poorly, I'm not going to even bother to do highlights. But I've got a commitment before the game, so we're not going to be able to do the recap, or sorry, the 643 DP before the game. So rather than give it up altogether, I'm just going to shift my recap over to his channel for the night and do it with Patrick. So I will see all of you tomorrow night. Go Yanks. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. It helps other Yankees fans find the channel. If you really enjoyed it, check out the swag section. We've got tons of great designs to support all your favorite Yankees. And if you simply cannot get enough Yankees content, check out the podcast version of this channel, The Frieze by NYY Recaps, available wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Derek. Thanks for watching.